Oh, thanks. I sort of messed it up at the end there, but what else? I'm just waiting for. I've just put my first batch into the pot, so I have about 5 minutes to play. I make bagels. I'm a baker. A specialized baker. All I do is make bagels. I can make other things, but for this job, that's all I'm required to do. Bagels. Vancouver. Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Not Vancouver, Washington. My bagels are still cooking. None of them have popped up yet. I have a pot. Oh, there's one. The pot's pretty full. I should let some water out, maybe. I think I have time for one more. Let's see. Which I play. back in 1 minute.
Hamlin towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The River Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you've never spied. But when begins my ditty? Almost 500 years ago. To see the townsfolk suffer so, from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests in men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. Alas, the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor's a naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking. I think we'd buy gowns lined with ermine, for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in the furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking to find the remedy we are lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing. At this, the Mayor Corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. For a gilder I'd my ermine gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch its soul, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, trap, trap. Just as he said this, what should hap? At the chamber door with a gentle tap. Bless us, cried the mayor, what's that? With the corporation as he sat, looking little too under his fat. Nor brighter were his eyes nor moister than a too long open oyster, save when it knew his paunch grew mute, for a plate of turtle green blueness. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart pit a pat. Come in, cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long clear coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes, each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek nor beard on chin. The lips were smile without an in, there was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, it's as my great-grandsire, starting up with the trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone. He advanced towards the council table. Please, Your Honor, said he, I am able, by means of secret charm to draw, all the creatures living beneath the sun, to crawl or swim or fly or run, after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper, and people call me the Pied Piper. And here they notice round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe to match with his coat the self-same check. And at scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old-fangled. Yes, said he, Pied Piper as I am, in Tartaria I fled the cam, last June from the huge swarms of gnats. I eased in Asia the Nizam of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders? 50,000 was the exclamation of an astonished Mayor Corporation. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe a while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, he heard as if an army muttered, and the muttering grew to a grumbling, and the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. The streety piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, where it all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar swam across the lifted carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to rat lag home his commentary, which was, after a shrill notes of the pipe, I heard a sound as a scraping tripe, and putting apples wondrous bright into the side presses bright, and moving away of pickled up boards, leaving a jar of conserve cupboards, and drawing the corks of train oil flasks, and breaking the hoops of butter casks. It seemed as if a voice sweeter far than my harbored by solitaries breathe, called out, "Oh, rats, rejoice! The world has grown to a vast saltery. So munch on, crunch on, take your nunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just a bulky sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone, gracious scarce an inch before me, just methought it said come bore me, I found the Weser rolling over me. You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bells as they rocked the steeple, Go, cried the mayor, get long poles, poke up the nets and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats. When suddenly up the face of the piper perked in the marketplace, the first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders? The mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too. For council days made rare havoc with Claret will sell, in de Grave Hawk, and half the money would replenish their seller's biggest butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, with gypsy coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes vermin sink, and what's dead can't come to life, I think. So, friend, we're not folks to shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put in your poke. But as for the guilders, what we spoke of them, as you well know, wasn't joke. Besides, your losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come, take 50. The piper's face fell, and he cried, no trifling, I can't wait, he sighed. I've promised to visit by dinner time Baghdad, and accept the prime of the head cook's pottage. All he's rich in, for having left in the Caleb's kitchen, of a nest of scorpions no survivor. With him I prove no bargain driver, with you don't think I'll bait a stiver. And folks who put me in a passion, may find me pipe after another fashion. How, cried the mayor, you think I brook, being where's choice dead and cook, insulted by a ribald, with idle pipe and vesture piebald. Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe there till you burst. Once more he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe of smooth straight cane. And ere he blew 3 notes, such sweet soft notes as any musicians couldn't never gain the enraptured air. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling, of merry crowds justling and pitching and hustling. Small feet were pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, little tongues chattering, like foals in the farmer and barley is scattering. All came the children running, all the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping around merrily after. The wonderful music was shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb and the council stood, as if they're changed into blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry, to the children merrily skipping by. Could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back, and how the mayor was on the rack, and the wretched council's bosom beat as the piper turned from the high street, to where the west had rolled its waters, right the way of their sons and daughters. However, he turned from south to west, and to Copperberg Hill his steps addressed, and after him the children pressed. Great was the joy in every breast. He never crossed the mighty top, he's forced to let the piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reached the mountainside, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed. The piper advanced and the children followed. When all were into the very last, the door of the mountainside shut fast. Did I say all? No one was lame, and could not dance a whole of the way. And in after years, if you blame the sadness, he used to say, it is dull in our town since my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights I see, which the piper also promised me. Before he led us, he said, to a joyous land, joining the town in jest at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, the flowers were forth fairies, and everything was strange and new. The sparrow was part of the peacock here, and dogs were ran up and deer, and honeybees had lost their stings, and horses were born of eagle's wings. And just as I became assured, my lame folk be speedily cured. Music stopped, and I stood still, and found myself on side the hill, left behind against my will, to go now lipping as before, and never hear of that country more. Alas, alas for Hamelin, there came to many a burgher's pate, a text which says at heaven's gate, opes the rich at as easy rate, as a needle's eye takes a camel in. The mayor sent east, west, north, and south, to offer the piper by word of mouth, wherever it was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, if only he'd return the way he went, and bring the children behind him. But when they saw it was lost endeavor, piper and dancers were gone forever. They made a decree that lawyers never should take their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year, these words not well appeared. And so long after what happened here, on the 22nd of July, 1376, the better memory to fix the children's last retreat. They called it the Pied Piper Street, where anyone playing Piper's neighbor was sure for his future lose his labor. nor suffered they hostel or tavern, chalked with mirth the streets of solemn. And opposite the place of the cavern, wrote the story on a column, and on great church window painted, the same to make the world acquainted, how their children were stolen away. And there it stands this very day. And I must not omit to say, in Transylvania there's a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress in which their neighbors lay such stress to their fathers and mothers having risen of some subterranean prison into which they were Japan a long time ago in a mighty band out of Hampton towns in Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So, Lily, let me and you be wipers of scores out with all men, especially pipers. If they should pipe us free from rats or from mice, if we promise not, let us keep our promise. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Chat me up if you feel like it. If you don't chat with me, I'll either recite poetry or tell you a story. I have one batch of bagels in the oven, one in the pot. I'm just getting my boards nice and wet. Get them ready for the next batch. The Canadian national anthem. It's a funny song. I like it, but it sort of starts out like a funeral dirge. Sort of depressing. Those first notes. was once a young man named Roland Pye who played the recorder when he wasn't baking bagels. One day he was walking through a park and playing his recorder west of off while he was baking, when suddenly he spied a corpse lying on the ground beneath a swarm of flies. He put down his recorder, walked over to the corpse, shooed the flies away, and covered the dead man in stones. Returning to his oven later that day, he found that his oven blade had gone on by itself and already baked half the bagels he needed. From that day on, Roland Pye was the happiest baker alive. He'd bake until he was tired, then he'd pull his recorder out of his pocket while his oven blade went on by itself. But Roland Pye lived in a town whose mayor did not admire his skill and was jealous of his fame. So the mayor devised a plan to rid the town of Roland. In the beginning, he said that Roland was a good worker, but lazy. Next, he said that Roland baked a whole lot, but badly. Then he accused Roland of being a sorcerer. People turned on him. Therefore, Roland Pye took his recorder and left his home behind. When Roland Pye came to a neighboring town, he went to all the business owners, but none of them would give him any work. Finally, he met an old busker and asked him for work to keep body and mind together. "Come along with me," said the old man, "and we will share alms." So Roland Pye and the old man started going around and singing. "Baker, why do you bear those silent things? Baker, how did you forget to stand where your feet are? Baker, no woman loves her well, although it's golden and good for health. Baker, you are too dirty for a lover to wish to preen. Your limbs are the knotted cords of an old-fashioned machine. Baker, line the reins and bash the boards. You don't need their applause for a thing that is yours. You are a baker and are what you are, not by a miracle, but by the work of your arms. Baker, be who you are." Everybody gave alms to the old man, but to Roland they said, "What is a young man like you out begging? Why don't you work for a living?" "Nobody will hire me," replied Roland Pye. "That's what you say. There's a king with so many hungry soldiers that he'll pay good wages to anyone willing to feed them." So Roland Pye went to the king's kitchen and took the old man whose alms he'd been sharing. The oven had never been used by anyone. Roland mixed the dough, then he rolled it into rings, then he boiled them, dressed them as seeds, and baked them until they're golden brown. Then he tossed them into a crate to cool down. Whenever Roland wearied of baking, he'd play his recorder. Once he was weary of playing his recorder, he would sing. "Baker, why you bear those silent things? Baker, how did you forget to stand where your feet are? Baker, no woman loves her well, although it is golden and good for her health. Baker, you are too dirty for a lover to wish to preen. Your limbs are the knots and cords of an old-fashioned machine. Baker, line the rings and bash the boards. You don't need their applause for the thing that is yours. You are a baker and are what you are, not by a miracle, but by the work of your arms. Baker, be who you are." Hearing the singing, a princess looked out the window. She saw Roland Pye, fell in love with him. But she was a princess, and he a baker. The king would never consent to their marriage. So they decided to run away together. They fled at night in a boat. They were already on the high seas when Roland remembered the busker. He said to his beloved, "We must fetch the old man, since he shared his alms with me. We can't go off and leave him like that." At that very moment, the old man came up behind the boat, walking on the water as though it had been dry land. Reaching the boat, he said, "We agreed to divide everything we had, and I shared everything I own. Now you have the king's daughter. You must give half of her to me." At this, he gave Roland Pye the knife to cut his bride in two. Roland Pye took the knife with a trembling hand. "You are right," he said.
You are perfectly right. He was on the point of cutting his bride in two, when suddenly the old man stopped him. Stop. I knew you were a just man. I'm the dead man, mind you, whom you covered with stones. Go now, and may the two of you always be happy. At this, the old man walked away on the waves. The boat came to an island rich in all good things, with the princely palace awaiting the new beds. We got 2 batches in the oven. My first thought was he lied in every word. That hoary cripple with malicious eye, asking to watch the working of his lie on mine, and most scarce able to afford suppression of the glee that pursed and scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What saved Whaley with his lies and snare, all travelers who might find him posted there? And asked the road, I guessed what skull like laugh would break, what crutch could write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at its counsel I should turn aside into ominous track, which all agree hides the dark tower, in acquiescingly I deterred as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end described, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through the years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring my heart made find failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes a farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freely outside. Oh my God. Poetic amnesia. Or just plain old amnesia. Amnesia. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, asking us to watch the working of his lie on mine, a mouth scarce able to afford suppression of the glee the person scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What saved Whaley with his lives and snare? All travelers who might find him posted there, and asked the road, I guessed what skull like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph and pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at its counsel I should turn aside into ominous track which all agree hides the dark tower, yet acquiescingly I deterred as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end described, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through the years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I early tried now to rebuke the spring my heart made finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, the fields begin and end the tears, and takes the farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freely outside, since all is over, he saith, and the blow fall and no grieving can amend. While some discusseth near other graves be room enough for this, but when a day seems best to carry the corpse away, with caribou banners, scarfs and staves, and still the man hears all and only craves, he may not shame such tender love and stay. Thus I had for so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so oft being writ, so many times among the band of wit, the knights who to dark towers search address their steps, that just to fail as they seem best, and all doubt was now should I be fit. So quiet as despair I turned from him, that hateful cripple, out of his highway into the path he pointed, all the day had been a dreary one at best, dim was settling into its close, yet shot one grim red leer to see the plain catch its stray. For mark, no sooner was I fairly found, pledged the plain after a pace or two, then pausing through backward the last view, over the safe road 'twas gone, grey plain all round, nothing but plain to the horizon's bound. I must go on, naught else remained to do. So on I went. I think I never saw such stark and total nature. Nothing throve, for flowers as well expect a cedar grove, but chortled its birds according to their law, but propagate their kind with none to awe. You'd think a treasure trove wasn't that. You'd think a bird had been a treasure trove. No penny inured to single makes in some strange sort were the land's portion. See or close your eyes at nature peevishly. If nothing skills, I can't help my case. 'Tis last judgment's fire has cured this place, calcined its clods and set my prisoners free. If there pushed any ragged thistle stalk above its base, its head was chopped. Bents for jealous else, well made the holes and rents in the dock's harsh forest leaves, bruises to balk all hope of greenness. 'Tis a brute must walk, passion or life with the brute's intents. As for the grass, it grew as scarce as hair and leprosy. Thin, dry blades pricked the mud which underneath was kneaded up with blood. One stiff, blind horse, his every bone despair, stood stupefied however he came there, thrust out past service in the devil's stud. Alive, he might be dead for aught I know, with red, gaunt, and callop neck astrain, and shut eyes beneath the rusty mane. Seldom went such grotesqueness with such woe. I never saw a brute I hated so. You must have been wicked to deserve such pain. I shut my eyes and turned them on my heart, as a man calls for wine before he fights. I asked one draft of earlier, happier sights. Ere fitly I could hope to play the part. Think first, fight afterwards, a soldier's art. One taste of old times sets all to rights. Not it. I fancied Cuthbert's reddening face beneath its garniture of curly gold. Dear fellow, till I almost felt him fold. An arm and mind to fix me to that place, in a way that you used. Alas, one night's disgrace, how in my heart's new fire and left it cold. Giles, then, the soul of honor, there he stands, frank as 10 years ago when knighted first. An honest man should dare he's Eddie Durst. Good, but the scene shifts. Thaw when hangman's hand pinned to his breast of parchment. His own band reads it, poor traitor spit upon and cursed. Better this present than a past like that. Back therefore to my darkening path. No sound, no sight as far as the eye can strain. Will the night send a howler or a bad ass? When something on the dismal flat came to arrest my thoughts and change their train. A sudden low river crossed my path, as unexpected as a serpent came. No tides congenial to the gloom. This is a frostbite, might have been a bath of the fiends blowing loose. To see the wrath of its black eggs be spat with flakes and spoons. So petty and spiteful, all along those scrubby alders kneeled over it. Drenched willows flung them headlong in the fit of rout despair, a suicidal throng. The river which had done them all the wrong, whatever that was, rolled by and turned no wit. Which while I forded, good saints, how I feared to set my foot upon a dead man's cheek. Each step or feel the spear I thrust to seek, for hollows tangled in his hair or beard. It may have been a water rat I speared, but out it sounded like a baby's shriek. Glad was I to reach the other bank. Now for a better country, vain presage. Who were the strugglers? What war did they wage? Whose savage trampled the dust path bank soil to a plash? Toads in a poison tank, wild cats in a red-hot cage. The fight must so have seemed in that foul certain. What penned them there with all plain to choose? No footsteps leading to that horrid muse. None out of it. Mad Bruins set to work their brains, no doubt, like galley slaves to Turk. Pits for his pastime, Christians against Jews. And more than that, a furlong on, why there, what bad use was that engine for? That wheel, or brake, not wheel, that harrow fit to reel men's bodies out like silk, with all the air of Tophet's tool, on earth left unaware, brought to sharpen its rusty teeth and steel. Then came some stub ground, once a wood, next a marsh it would seem, now mere earth. Desperate and done must so the fool finds mirth, makes a thing and mars it, till his mood changes and off he goes, within a root, bog, clay, and marsh, sand and stark black dirt. Now blotches rankling colored gay and grim, now patches where some leanness of the soil is broken to moss or substances like boils. Then came a palsied oak, a cleft in him, a distorted mouth that splits its rim, gaping at death and dies while it recoils. As far as ever from the end, not to the distance but the evening nod, to point my footsteps further at the thought, great black bird, Apollyon's bosom send, sailed past nor beat his wide winged dragon pen, that brushed my cap perchance the guide I sought. For looking up and where I somehow grew, the plain and given place all round the mountains with such names and grace mere heights and heaps now stolen and viewed. How this surprised me, solving you, how to get from there was no clear case. Yet half I seemed to recognize some trick of mischief had happened to me. God knows when, in a bad dream perhaps, here ended their progress this way, when in the very nick of giving up one more time came a click as when the trap ships are in the den. Burningly it came upon me all at once. This was the place, those two hills crouched like two bulls locked horn in horn in fight, while to the left was the tall scalp mountain, Dun's daughter dozing at the very nuts after a lifetime of training for the sight. Not see. What in the midst lay but the tower itself, the round squat turret built of brown stone without a counter. Blind as a fool's heart, built of brown stone with a counterpart in the whole world. The tempest walking out points the ship and thus the unseen shell. It strikes on only when timbers start. Not see, because of night perhaps, why day came back for that. Behind it left the dying sunset, kindled to a craft. The hills like two giants in the hunting lay, chin upon hand to see the game at bay. Now stab and end the creature to the heft. not here. When noise was everywhere, told, increasing like a bell, names in my ears, of lost adventurers, my peers. How such was strong, and such was bold, and such was fortunate, yet each of old, lost one moment now the woe of years. There they stood, ranged along the hillside met, to view the last of me, a living frame, for one more picture to see the claim. I saw that we knew them all, and yet, dauntless, slung to my lips I set, blue, child roll into a dark power came. There was once a rich man who had just one son. The boy was dearly loved by his father. As everybody knows, the greatest scourge on earth for a rich man is prison. Therefore, when his son turned 14, the father decided to send him to school to learn the science of laziness. On the same street as the rich man, there lived a famous and highly respected professor who'd never done a lick of work in his life he could get out of doing. The rich man called on him and found him stretched out in the garden under a fig tree with a cushion under his head, a cushion under his butt, a cushion under his back, a cushion under his buttocks. Before talking to him, I must foresee how he does, said the rich man to himself. And he hid behind a hedge to observe the man. The professor lay as still as a corpse with his eyes closed. The only time he stirred, the only time he moved, was whenever he heard the sound of a ripe fig falling on the ground near where he lay. He would reach slowly out, bring the fruit to his mouth, and swallow it. Then he wouldn't stir again until another fig fell. This is just the professor my son needs, decided the rich man. He came out from his hiding place, introduced himself, and asked the professor if he'd teach his son the science of laziness. Old man, answered the professor just above a whisper, don't talk so much. It tires me to listen to you. If you want to bring your son up as you and I are, just send him to me. So the old man went home, took his son by the hand, thrust a feathered pillow under his arm, and led him to the garden. I urge you, he told him, to do everything you see this professor of idleness do. The boy, who already had an inclination for that particular science, also stretched out under the fig tree. Observing his teacher, he saw him reach for every fig that fell and bring it to his mouth. Why should I work myself to death reaching for figs, he thought. He lay there with his mouth wide open. Soon a fig fell into his mouth. He let it go down slowly. Then another fig fell. This time it missed. It He lay there perfectly still and murmured, "Why so wide of a mark? Think fall into my mouth." Seeing how wise his pupil already was, Professor said, "Go on now. You have nothing to learn from me. You can even teach me something." So the boy went home to his father, who thanked heaven for having sent him such a smart son.